welcome to the second and last part of House of the Dragon tutorial. In the first part we had finished the threads and we can start configuring them. So more or less I will be adding the values that I am putting here, but you can change them to others that you like. I will upload the project so that you can download it for a very low price. Okay, let's continue. As you can see in the original intro, the threads come out of the fabric. And to start, what we are going to do is to add two materials to the threads. So we duplicate the material that we already have, add a new slot, load the new material, and change the color to both materials. We preview, change the material in the node, adjust the new material, return to the solid view, and to see everything better, activate depth of field, outline, and specular lighting. And finally, we make a bit of room. We are going to collapse all the panels of our node. That way there is less distraction. And we add a set position. We connect the geometry, and for now, we are going to connect it to the output by deactivating the previous one. We add a raycast. We add the ground. We select relative. We change the value Z to 1, and we connect hit position to position. We duplicate set position. We add a resample curve. We increase it to 80, for example, and it does not work at all because we have to increase the resolution before raycast. So we are going to change it. We connect. I was wrong. We connect the geometry. Raycast is connected to position, and this set position has to be enabled. And since raycast is in positive, the position of the curves also has to be in positive. And with the last set position, we correct the position so that it is in the correct point. But we are going to increase to 4 instead of 2. We put all these nodes in a frame. We change the name and color and create a group. We change the name and label of the node. We enter the group, and we are going to add count an object. We make room and add a curve to mesh. We connect a curved circle to profile curve. We decrease resolution and radius. We frame both nodes and add them to our input group. We are going to create a new panel called Path, and we put the two values we have created before. We make room. We add a distribute points on faces. We change its mode to poison disk. We add an instance on points in a curve line. We connect curve to instance. We add a resample curve. We put 15 in count, and so we have control of the length with the Z value. We make some room and put all these nodes in a frame. We change the name and color. In fact, we are going to add a realize instances, and we add it within the frame. We are going to create a new panel, and we are going to change the name to threads instancing. We drag these 4 values. We are also going to drag count. We put them in the panel. We change their name. And we are going to put resample in path. We create another panel. We call it threads shape, and we are going to put this resample inside. We are going to move the path panel to the first position, and we are going to connect to end a combine XYZ. We drag Z to our panel, we put it in this panel, and we rename it. We sort the nodes a bit, always do that. We leave the group, and we're going to change the values a bit. Okay, we continue. We add a noise texture. We add a set position, and we connect color to offset. We add a vector math. We change the mode to multiply. We put 0.5 in the 3 values, and so we have put everything back in place. We lower the scale to 1 more or less. We raise the roughness a bit. And now what we are going to do is duplicate vector math. We put it in scale mode. We add a spline parameter. We connect to math. We connect to color ramp. We duplicate vector math again, and we connect color to the second value. We are going to adjust the values a bit, and we are going to take all the nodes, We are going to put them in a frame. We are going to change the name. We are going to change noise texture to 4D. We adjust the values a bit, and we are going to animate it with a scene time. We connect frame. We add a math multiply mode. And we are going to put a very low value, for example, 0.008. We are going to add all the noise texture values to our group. We add scale. And now we are going to create a panel. And we introduce all the values that we have just added. Remember that you have to change the names to know exactly what each option does. We make room and we leave the group. We add a join geometry, we connect the threads, we select the ground, we lower the resolution a bit so that the Blender interface works a little more fluid. We go back to the group, we add a set position, and now we are going to go to paths. We are going to select these two nodes, we put them in a frame, we change the name and color, and we are going to select the frame and both nodes, and we make a duplicate with Ctrl-Shift-D. We are going to connect a trim curve, and we are going to change the name and color of the frame. We are going to drag the output to a reroute. We create another reroute here. And now we are going to connect the geometry proximity. We connect distance to offset. We add a combine XYZ, and we connect Z. And with this, we have achieved this effect. We can add a math, change it to multiply, put a negative value, and we are going to modify trim curve. And we are going to leave the group. We go back in, we add a curve to mesh, and we connect to profile curve, a curved circle. We reduce resolution and radius. And select fill caps. We put these 4 nodes in a frame. We change the name and color, and we put these other 2 nodes in another frame, adding a set material. We put it inside. We select the material that interests us. We organize the nodes. We add a switch. We enable it. We change the input to true, and we drag enable to our group. We are also going to drag this value, this value, this value, and this value. And now in the panel, we are going to rename the values and put them where we are interested. We organize, we create a new panel, we put the material, we create another panel called animation, and we are also going to drag start and end. We organize them, we are going to organize all the nodes a bit. We leave the group, we organize these nodes too, and we start to have something. We are modifying the values until we find something that is interesting. But of course, we are not going to animate both values separately. So what we are going to do is that one of the ends controls the other. So we are going to right-click on this value, copy as new driver, and paste here as driver, and so we control both with 1. And what we are going to do is control start to, but we are going to control it with this end. We copy as driver, paste, edit the driver, select script expression, and we are going to add here minus 0.1. And in this way, this end controls start, and this end controls everything. We are going to change the value. We are going to put 2.05, for example, and so better. We are going to adjust the values. Remember that all these values are orientational. We are going to change them throughout the tutorial. We organize the nodes a bit. We enter the group, we make room, and we are going to eliminate everything that is below the ground by adding a delete geometry. We add a raycast. We connect is hit to selection. We change to 1, and now we are going to add a set position. We are going to decrease the value Z a bit. We add reroutes. We put these 3 nodes in a frame, we change the name and color, we leave the group, and we are going to start adjusting a little more. All this, I'm going to load the project to super high in case you want to download it. Blender has a slight problem with the drivers, and it is that if the values are too similar, suddenly all the threads appear. And that in this case is only happening to me when I give the animation backwards. Forward, there is no problem. But in other projects that I have been working on, forward also happens. We are going to change the value of the driver. We can edit it, or we can edit it directly from here. And we are going to change this driver to script expression and add 0.05, 0.08, better. And little by little, we are previewing and changing the values. In fact, we are going to change it to 0.6. And remember the bug that I told you before, every time I make the animation backwards, all the threads are seen suddenly. We are going to change the instances. We are going to add a few more. We are going to change the animation, the driver, and we are going to change the path, the radio, to add a few more threads. And this is starting to look a little more like what we want. We are modifying all the values, and for example, the noise animation is too fast. We are going to reduce it. And in fact, we are going to put this value in the animation panel, better organized. We put it inside of it, and we are going to change it to 0.005. We create a keyframe at the beginning of the animation. We create another keyframe at the end of the animation in end. We select both keyframes, and we tell it that the curve is linear. Now we are going to go to the camera view. We are going to select the camera, and we are going to create a keyframe in focus distance. We adjust f-stop if necessary, and we create another keyframe at the end of the animation, adjusting focus distance. Right button, interpolation options, linear. Another thing I'm going to do is modify the animation of the camera to make it a little more fluid. We are going to move this keyframe here. We're going to move this one a little further back. And we are going to deactivate geometry nodes. Ground, we go to view Z. We enter editing mode in the curves, and we start drawing all the way we want. For example, like this. More or less, this is just a reference, I'm not refining it. We enable everything again, and there is the result. We are going to increase the resolution of both the ground and the threads. Well, now what we are going to do is process the output of geometry nodes. We are going to make a little bit of room, and we are going to add a bake. We select animation, we go to node, we select disk, we deactivate everything that does not interest us, and we click on bake. We activate everything that interests us again, and we do exactly the same with ground. We go to layout, we activate the render view. We're going to increase the intensity a bit. We are going to change the color, give it a slightly warmer tone. We're going to change the position a bit, and I'm going to activate denoise. I'm going to increase the scale of the ground material. I do this simply to make the preview look a little better. If you want to make a change first, you have to disable bake. Make the changes you want. Enable bake again, delete, and do it again. And yes, there is a very big difference between rendering with the geometry processed or unprocessed. I'm going to change thresholds and samples, and we are going to go to the Z view. We add a Bezier curve. We enter edit mode. We delete all the vertices. We select the drawing tool, and I'm going to make a dragon. I'm doing it very fast, but the direction in which it is drawn determines the direction of the animation. And once we finish the shape we want, we are going to add our geometry nodes. We select them. And we are going to find some problems, surely, depending on your scene, that are due to the mask of our ground. We can make the mask bigger, but if you don't want to add more geometry, what you can do is reduce the size or center the threads. Then what we are going to do is duplicate our geometry nodes to make any change without affecting the other curves. We can change some values, especially the seeds. We do the same with the nodes. We duplicate them. And as we move along the timeline, depending on the cameras and the mask of our ground, it is easy for you to find the same problem again. You just have to center it or reduce the size. And another option would be to create a group with the cut that we have made to the ground and add it to our threads. And we are also going to change the material. And my advice is that you create a group called Dragon 1. And in that group, you put all the curves of that figure and so on. I'm going to change the parameters of the camera depth a bit. And this would be the result. I hope you enjoyed it. Remember that you can download the model in SuperHive, and see you soon.